place to watch the hottest Overwatch matches. That's right, it's the ANZ Winter Streamer Face-Off in the peak of summer for us here down under. This is a charity stream for Make-A-Wish that pits 6 teams of OC streamers against each other. There'll be some familiar faces and some new ones too. And the whole point of the competition is to have some fun, make some money from Make-A-Wish, and of course get those bragging rights. I'm Stranger Cast, and joining me tonight is Nikki.
Hey, I am back. It is so exciting to be back here after the tremendous success that was our streamer face-off all the way back in August. We are back again, one more for the year, probably the last big OCE Overwatch event for the year. And it is so exciting. Like you said, there's a bunch of names. There's also a bunch of worthy causes on the line here tonight, Stranger.
That's right. It's really big thanks to thexboxlucio for making this competition happen. Without them, it really would have been a lot harder, and I don't think it might have even happened. They really put a lot of effort in. Just quickly going to cover off the charity, the main purpose we're here, Make-A-Wish. Okay, they are here changing the lives for kids. They're making life-changing wishes come true for critically ill children. And they've been in Australia for 35 years now, so that's a pretty long time. They've been helping design unique wishes for 10,000 children, which includes stuff like meeting heroes, getting the ultimate gaming setup, or all sorts of other things like that too. And tonight we have a donation goal of $1,000. I really want to make sure that we hit that tonight. I know you guys can find those spare pennies around. And to make sure that you get involved in that, hit ! Donate in the chat to get a link, or you can find a link below as well, and get involved. Anyway, shall we carry on?
Yeah, we also have to thank the sponsors of this event who are bringing us the opportunity to do this at all. That is starting with Gamerfuel AUS. So you can get 20% off for the next 48 hours if you use the code ANZFO. We also have O.G Nerd, who are the greatest gaming streetwear in the world. Check out their merch at the link below and use code ANZFaceoff for 20% off this weekend only. We also have to chuck a quick thank you for Blizzard ANZ for helping bring some visibility to this event. So those sponsors are really cool. They're actually getting a prize for the winning team. So there'll be a little merch bundle going the way to the victors of this tournament between Gamerfuel and OG Nerd. And the tournament MVP will also be getting a little bit of thexboxlucio merch. So another props to Xbox for putting this whole thing together.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. There'll be a chance for a player to make that. We try not to pick the MVP out of the winning team, just try and spread that love a little bit. But of course, those guys will be wanting that high role. They want to win the competition, get all the merch and all that from our friends at OG Nerd. So pretty cool. I would like to say that this came from OG Nerd, but unfortunately not. They I don't think that they do Santa outfits, but that's just a shame,
It's such a niche in the market that they're missing out on. Like, maybe we can create enough of a movement. If enough people use the code, maybe they'll put it in a Santa outfit.
Next season for sure.
Absolutely. So this tournament, there's a lot going on. First off, it's over 2 days. So we are only bringing you the very start of this action tonight. We'll have another set of casters coming on a little bit later on. There's like 5 matches on tonight, I'm pretty sure. We're bringing you the first 3. And all of them will be a best of 3. So first to 2 maps, basically. We will not play the last map. So if it's a 2-0, we'll just move on to the next one straight away, because there's a lot to get through. It is a double elimination bracket. So your favorite streamer will have the chance to show off their skills, or lack thereof if they're a bit of a feeder. So there will be many chances for your streamer to play the video games, and every single game will be streamed right here on Koalas Esports. And if you want to check out their individual perspectives, jump over to their own personal streams. Everybody, I'm pretty sure, is streaming, and they'll be creating their own communities over there as well. So make sure to check all of those people out.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Even tonight, we'll get to stream every team, which means everyone will get a chance to be on their camera, and having the multiple perspectives is always awesome for when those massive clips do happen. We can get multiple perspectives on the whole thing. But anyway, let's move on to the map pool for tonight. We do have a fixed map pool for tonight. So I'm going to have Lijiang Tower, Dorado, and then if the teams do manage to go to their third map, it'll be Kings Road, the winter format, get a bit of snow going in there. So it will be a limited pick of the maps, but that might actually make things quite interesting, since everyone will be on a very even playing field in that regard.
Yeah, it's also a very similar map pool for our finals, which will have a different map pool And day 2 will be different as well. So we will get a bit of a shake-up, just we'll have to wait a little bit to get that. But the finals pool has Lijiang and Kings Row in it, I'm pretty sure. The final will be a best of 5, by the way. So there is a few more, we get to flesh it out, which is really, really exciting. Of course, at every opportunity, we will be going to the winter version of the map because we're in that Christmas spirit.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is only Kings Row for that. But anyway, let's get into the teams for tonight. We've got Diamond Degens versus Blue Eyes, two very formidable foes. We've got Arcanine OCE coming up on that main tank, Jeezy Clap, Claws Gregory, Trash Quinn, Xbox Lucio, the whole event organizer, and Valkyrie, all there on that team. Really balanced overall. Anything you want to mention about these guys?
I would recommend keeping an eye on the support line. They are two very, I would describe them as loud players, particularly Xbox Lucio. Very few shenanigans will absolutely happen. But on the more negative side, I guess I'm a bit worried about Arcanine and Jeezy. They're both want to run that Reinhardt. Last tournament, Arcanine was the one to flex over to the Zarya in what was actually a tournament-winning performance. They are trying to defend their championship here when they were playing on Hubble Bubble last time around, all the way back in August. So do expect Arcanine on the Zarya once again. So they will not be out of their comfort zone there.
Yeah, it's really cool that we managed to split up a lot of the winning team members around all the teams here to keep the competition a bit more balanced. We didn't want to have that, laser team coming in strong and being very threatening. So spread them out, made sure that they got to mingle with everyone else. Over onto Blue Eyes here, we've got Fallen Angel, Kai Jamo, Lion, Always Toxicity, Yami NZ, and Ice Kitty coming in on that support line. A very strong team again.
Yeah, so we were talking about splitting up those defending champions, and Kai Jamo is one of those, playing the DPS in the previous tournament, very famously, that Torbjorn, busting out some ludicrous hammer kills. This time they will be on, I'm presuming, the off tank from what I've seen of these teams practicing. And they also have Ice Kitty on their roster. They have been duoing for a long time, so I expect the synergy between Kai and Ice to really show off in this match. Also, very quickly, Valkyrie is our defending MVP. They won the ANZ Summer Rumble MVP prize, so they're going to try and make it 2 from 2.
Yeah, we do. We have some interesting fallout there. Obviously, Xbox Lucio going to be locked in that Xbox character, no,
nice
the
one.
Lucio character most likely, and obviously Hog and that kind of thing make it a bit difficult. We saw Kai's kind of leaning towards the Zarya there, so interesting to see how they adapt to that. Maybe Xbox Lucio might have like an absolute field day, or they might end up feeding. That's one of those people that we're going to keep a close eye on, because they are very make or break in terms of the current kind of format.
That is an excellent way to describe them. I couldn't have put it better myself. We are starting off tonight, as we mentioned earlier, on Lijiang Tower, and I can't help but feel that Xbox Lucio rigged this a little bit. Lijiang is just such an iconic map for the bippity boppity boot boy Lucio, so I expect them to go to town here, and it's probably a big reason why they picked it, because there's just so many flashy plays that can come on. I remember there was a clip circulating a while back of another player in this tournament, Snell, who we'll get to see a little bit later tonight, has gone fishing on Roadhog. There's some Lucio boot opportunities. You can spin to win on the Wrecking Ball if you so feel it. There are a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, so again, these teams, they've had some time to practice together as well. So I've seen a few streams. Obviously, they're all streamers, so they kind of been leaking their strats out. And there's been some good stuff, as you say. Ice Kitty and Kai have been duoing for a long time, so there's good synergies in that regard. And the other team as well, I've seen them all practicing. So it looks like this time around, the teams are taking a little bit more, don't know what the word I'm looking for here, but they've taken a little more control over everything here in terms of, actually training together for a bit and doing that kind of thing, which is good to see, that they can be able to pull out some strats going into these matches.
Yeah, Blue Eyes has been putting in a fair bit of work, and a lot of that has been kind of incorporating their main tank player for tonight, who will be Fallen Angel. She's been rocketing up on Twitch, getting followers very, very quickly, so props to them for that. But they aren't so experienced in a competitive nature in Overwatch. They're a self-proclaimed arcade player, so that's a little bit spooky, especially when coming up against someone like Arcanine, who is a very established tank player. And there's a few others in this tournament. My mind jumps to Spades and players like that, who will be very, very rock solid, like top 500 level main tank. So that will be a scary matchup when we get to them as well. But on the other side of the coin there, we've seen rookie players who don't have much competitive experience really succeed. One of those was Tink in the last tournament. That's Elias Tinker. And we also have Valkyrie, who they'll be playing against. So that is something that we could see as well. Maybe Fallen can follow in Valkyrie's footsteps and really build a name for themselves in this tournament.
Yeah, like you say, the pressure is on. Some of the matchups are going to be very difficult, but the teams have been relatively balanced in that regard to try and keep it going. So where they might lack in some tank play, they probably have a very solid support backing or a very solid DPS line that should hopefully be able to hold them up with that kind of thing, which is great. So here we are moving into Lijiang Tower, our first matchup for tonight. This is really the point to set the mark for your team, show them what you got, an even playing field both ways. So it's just going to be all about speed and dominance.
Yeah, very similar compositions as well. It is the Ryan Zarya on both sides. I'm excited to see Kaijamo, who'll be playing under the alias Golden for this tournament, how they'll match up against Arcanine. They played when on the same team, and Arcanine plays Zarya, so maybe they'll have a little bit of insight that will help them in this matchup. Both teams will be going for that teleport up at the top of the point, and it looks like Blue Eyes are just a lot quicker.
Yeah, they managed to get to that point super fast, take some dominance, and so far, Degens are struggling to even make their way forward. They lose a pick here, so going in a man down to start makes it super hard for themselves. They need to probably find that pick on through or back it up. They're in that halfway point right now.
Yeah, and that is not where you want to be at all. There's been just 2 picks. It was hardly even a fight. And right off the bat, Blue Eyes are taking control. You couldn't have done it much quicker. And recognizing defeat, Diamond Degens are retreating, excuse me. But how are they going to attack it? Because they're really going to struggle with all these symmetric turrets kind of car washing that initial choke, both of them really. So they need to somehow get through and break that. And it looks like Ice Kitty is going back to taxi the Mei so they can take a full fight with 6.
Yeah, this is good. They need to move in as a solid unit here. thexboxlucio to be the key player to try and help them get in with that speed boost that could make the difference for them. But so far, they finally make their play in. This is the chance to take it. Golden finding the startup. Kai really putting that damage output, and they just completely deny the push straight off the bat. There's no chance, and half the team has to back out now.
Just taking their time, going for the reset, building up some ultimates, which will be really important for Diamond Degens. I imagine the nano boost from Valkyrie will go right onto the Reinhardt, speed boost that puppy in, and you can make pretty good work of a team there. thexboxlucio isn't quite at that sound barrier yet either, so watch out for that. Oh, but a boop!
Oh, yeah, well played spoof. The shatter comes from GZ, but it's mostly blocked off. They do a little bit of back and forth, but the barrier here is just so strong from Blue Eyes. It gives them such an advantage. We do see them lose their main tank, though, so potential to keep this push going if Xbox can find themselves a pick or two. They're stuck in the corner getting 3v1, though, and it does not go their way.
Blue Eyes held strong. They didn't have any worries about it at all. Didn't even have to use that sound barrier from Ice Kitty, who in some senses might have even showed up thexboxlucio there, being the first to find the environmental kill. We would expect Xbox to come up with that one, but alas, it was Kitty, who's off-rolling a little bit. They're known for their mercy and their honor. So great plays from Ice Kitty on the Lucio.
It's make or break moment, final 10%. We get the grab coming out from Arcanine to try and hold them on the point. Great slaps through, but the barriers are strong. The Noon off the side takes GZ out. It's a great angle found there. Arcanine trying to do some output, but the numbers are just not in their favor, and a dominating performance here just seals it for Blue Eyes.
They didn't really falter at all. They got to the point first and they just didn't let it out of their grip whatsoever. And I think getting to the point was a massive part of that success. It's how that symmetric composition kind of works. You always want to get there really quickly. And it looks like since this team has practiced together, some of that synergy or some of that cohesion at least has started to build up, and it absolutely paid off there. That's round winning practice. I'm not actually sure how much practice Diamond Degens did. I saw thexboxlucio playing a fair bit, but other than that, I didn't actually see much going on as like a whole team playing together. But this is where we could see the tides turn, Stranger. thexboxlucio, keep your eyes on them. They will absolutely go for the Reddit rollout here. So the tanks of Fallen Angel and Golden really need to watch out for the boops.
There we go. Make or break for Luce. Does the rollout pretty nicely. Good boot, but it doesn't send them off, and they actually get traded. for it. That's so unfortunate to lose that hill at a start. They managed to trade it up, try and balance it out, but the barrier play on the point is so strong. The turrets are really menacing. GZ doesn't even get to finish the charge off as Blue Eyes walk on the point and push them out to start. Damn, it's so unfortunate that Boop didn't land as they wanted.
The boop actually connected onto Fallen Angel, and I think if it landed onto anybody else, it would have absolutely resulted in that environmental kill and an eventual fight win. But Reinhardt with that steadfast passive is just so hard to boop these days, and Xbox Lucio really felt it there. But they're going through White Room this time, but they also have Klaus up on the Pharah without a Mercy as well. So this is an interesting composition, but the lack of hit scan from Blue Eyes, the Pharah could find some success.
They've got to make sure they keep their spacing nice. They don't want to get blown to pieces by those explosives from Lion. Here's our chance to move in, 25% on the board, so it's still early into the match. Claws does get taken as we expected. Just as I mentioned, getting too close to that explosive. The rest of the team clean up nicely, and they keep it in their hands again.
I was talking at the pre-show, Stranger, about how I was a little bit worried about how Fallen Angel would kind of go in this more competitive environment, but it hasn't fazed them whatsoever. They have been right on the money. They haven't made any big mistakes. They've been playing their position to perfection, and I imagine that practice is really helping with that, along with the shot calls from their teammates.
Oh, Fatty Shaddy coming in there. Does the tire revert it? No, they take it out before it can have value. Yammy's punching out the damage though. They still, even after being shattered to the floor, managed to find all the kills they need to keep this point in their hands.
They got shattered, but it was Yammy, I'm pretty sure, coming up with a really nice immortality field behind the pillar. Nobody could take it down, and that's what kept everybody alive. Really nice individual play from GZ Cloud, but there was just not enough follow-up to actually make anything happen for it. The sound barrier is up for both sides, so there'll be a lot of health in this long, drawn-out fight.
Going for that same strat, same push side, the nano boost on to give GZ some help. Arcanine falling quick means the barriers just aren't there. The beat drop on Blue Eyes side gives them a lot of health to sustain the battle, and again, those use of the ults really helping them out to just clean the field. 99-0 in the overtime. They have no problem holding it off. A clean sweep on Li Zhang.
That was, I can't think of any other word than dominating, Stranger. I don't remember Diamond DJs getting a single kill that whole round, that whole map even.
Oh no.
Oh, I really hope. Am I missing one? I don't think I am, but. Oh no, there was one. Okay, Fallen Angel did die. So at least it wasn't a goose egg for Diamond DJs. That's the silver lining here. It wasn't 0. There was something there. But still, that was by no means an excellent start for them on that one. They'll have to try and turn it around on Dorado when we get to it. I'm trying to figure out what happened for Diamond DJs. Why, on paper, it's a solid roster. There's nothing wrong with it. But why did they struggle so much? And I think a lot of it was they got picked off early a lot. Xbox Lucio on the second round went for the boop. It was a heroic play. It was worth going for, especially in the streamer environment. No shade on that whatsoever. But the lack of Lucio in that fight meant less heals, and the fight just kind of crumbled from there. There weren't any fights where Blue Eyes got picked off first, and that's my bar for them, I guess. Now, if they can start to win fights after losing that first player, if they ever do lose a first player, that is when I'm really starting to see these guys as a title contender.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're on the money. The other thing is they didn't mix up their strategy a whole lot. In that round there, they basically took that, that one side of the map over and over and didn't really mix up their approach. They almost always all came from the same spot together, and it kind of made it a little simpler for Blue Eyes to just focus down a single corridor. And especially when you have a Junkrat, that's exactly what you want to ask for. So they played into their hands a little bit, I think. I think they might need to have a little team chat. Hopefully these other maps, a little bit more open, might make the difference for them.
Yeah, we are heading off to Dorado, so there are a fair few options there. The long-range hit scan will be a big one, so I expect that to come out probably from Juicy Cass. I expect it because Klaus seems to be a bit of more of a projectile specialist, at least. And the question is, who will match it? On the other side of things, Lion, who until very recently was actually a tank player, swapping over to the DPS. I don't know how they'll go in the more longer range department because tanks are pretty brawly melee characters. So maybe that's an opportunity for Diamond Degens to take. But they're also just restricted by the Xbox Lucio not being the Xbox Mercy or something along those lines. They are so restricted into playing these Lucio compositions. And we saw Klaus on the Pharah. That Pharah would have got so much more work done if they had a pocket alongside. Maybe that's up to Valkyrie to swap. We don't really know. We'll have to see what happens. And I think it would be a real testament to Blue Eyes as well if they can manage to make Xbox switch. That would be rubbing salt in the wounds in their own tournament as well. There might be a few words had after that.
Just a quick update. We already managed to hit $144 on the donation. So big thank you to everyone who's already got involved. Remember, you can hit !donate in the chat to get that link whenever you want. Help out Make-A-Wish. We've really got to hit that $1,000 cap. That's what we want to get to. So thanks a lot to everyone who's already got involved.
So good to put money towards this excellent cause as well. We also may as well, while we're here, take the time to shout out our sponsors, Gamerfuel and O.G Nerd. They are running a bunch of offers. There's a bunch of promo codes around as well if you want to chuck them in the stores. And we're trying to make the Santa Fit happen on OG Nerd, so make sure to use the code there especially.
Yeah, we'll have to hit them up with an email afterwards and get something sus for next season.
Are you going to ask to speak to the manager?
I'll Karen them right to the top.
Yeah. It's like you have a problem with your bloody computer and you message. Is it Bill Gates or is that the Apple dude? Oh no.
You're showing your age there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm big old man, I swear, guys.
You're not getting any presents this year.
Oh, rats. I was really looking forward to it.
But yeah, okay. As we were saying, Dorado, the teams know what they're getting themselves into. It'll be interesting what kind of comps we get coming out of them. We saw a little bit of mixed play there from Degens, like we were saying. The Pharah came out as well. So they're not afraid to mix it up a bit, I guess, other than maybe Xbox Lucio. But I actually have faith in Xbox Lucio to get some pretty hardcore fragging going on. So they can, like I said before, they can really be the maker of the match. So let's see if they can really dig deep and get that going, because I'd love to see it.
Yeah, there are a few spots on Dorado, a few cheeky rollouts. There's a really one that I haven't seen in a long time on first point when you're leaving the attacker spawn. You go all the way up that left rock face up around, and then you kind of can boop everybody off the high ground into a really compromising position. I would love to see that, because I actually can't think of the last time I saw that utilized. Maybe it just became so bread and butter that people just started to read it and didn't fall for it anymore. But if there's any time to bring it out, it would be now. Absolutely. But I don't know what else they can go for. Maybe swap the main tanks around. Maybe they'd have a bit more success if Arcane9 was up on the Rhine. But then that compromises GZ Collapse. There's so many. It's like there's no win-win situation here.
Yeah, look, it's a tough climb. I mean, you got to have that versatility and you got to have that team structure. And again, like you were saying before, maybe that little bit of extra practice that Blue Eyes was doing as a cohesive team is making the difference here. We mentioned the dono counter before, ! Donate, do not forget. But we have a few names that we can shout out. We have PapaDaka and Oparer, our casting buddies, who we will see later on in this tournament, either tonight or tomorrow. They put in some money, as did Zoom, Izzy, Gentoo, Penguin, Mr. Sneaky Jesus, and Snell, who's playing probably tonight, that will be. So thank you to everybody there who donated money towards Make-A-Wish Australia. Every dollar is very much valued. Very much valued. Snell also dropping the $4.20, so that's very nice.
I just sheeshed on camera. I'm leaving. That was the worst. Oh no.
Oh, well, the teams are finally ready. We got Dorado. It looks like winners picked. We're going to let them winner pick. And they've chosen, what was it? A 2 attack. So
yeah, so because the map was predetermined, normally the winner of the previous, the loser of the previous map, would pick. But as they're predetermined, we have to make a few alterations to the norm. But it doesn't matter. We are still getting Overwatch either way, and it will be Blue Eyes starting off on the offense. Compositionally, doesn't look too much different. But on the other side of things, things are looking way away from the norm. Xbox Lucio, as I kind of predicted, has been forced off the Lucio. They will be rocking the Baptiste. I wonder if any signs of inexperience will show on the map. I'm pretty sure I've seen them play some Ana in the past, but I don't know if I've actually seen them play Baptiste before. But this composition is looking very sturdy, particularly up on this high ground. And as I also kind of anticipated, Juicy Cass will be on that Soldier 76, playing the long range game up on this high ground, as poking in the damage. So Fallen Angel's shield will be taking a fair few hits in this, and they'll have to watch out how they manage it.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. See how that high ground hold goes. We already got, like we were talking about, the switch up from Xbox. He's not afraid to switch out onto the BAP. A strong hit scan player as well, so got to be careful of that, not to be slept on. The high ground does give them a lot of strength here. So far, the barrier struggling to stay up for Fallen. Team are having to cycle through that and the May wall to keep themselves up, but they are getting some progress slowly. Fallen is the first one to fall, but still the card makes its way underneath and they get that map advantage here.
Here's this situation I was talking about earlier. How do Blue Eyes cope when they lose the first pick and it doesn't look like it's going very well?
Yeah, their strength on that front line becomes a little bit more split. Lion with some fantastic outplay there with the stun to shut down any form of defense there. They actually managed to find the pickup as well on Valkyrie. So really pumping that damage just gives them a chance to get Fallen back in as well. And even without a shield, Lion's just going in on this team.
Maybe I spoke too soon. They did manage to turn it around, Blue Eyes did. And Lion cracked out of their mind on the Cassidy, landing so many shots. Really showing their worth here, shutting down so many players, and they don't even touch as well, and losing the Orisa. That is so brutal. And now the defense is in a position where they can't even take that high ground immediately, which their composition really desperately needs. So this couldn't have gone much better off the start for Blue Eyes.
Yeah, they have really got their momentum here, taking great map space as well to just try and give as much room for this card to walk on up. The front line holding strong as Kai and Fallen just keep alternating very well here. The window to follow up, and there's the shots from Xbox. They clean out Fallen here. This is the chance to push back, try and get some stoppage on this car.
That is the second time Fallen Angel has been the first pick. Maybe showing that more of that inexperience, or maybe just succumbing to the abundance of damage that their shields will be taking at the moment. Oh, the Cassidy flank on the high ground takes out Juicy Cass.
Oh, managed to shut down Arcanine, who was in the middle of the ult. They yet to use the defensive ult from Yami anyway. The tire comes out, shut down instantly with some lasers straight to the face there. Great shutdown on the ults. The May wall comes up to really put some pressure onto this tank line as they just get walked on. GZ just having to keep that shield up as much as possible, but two people on each side of you, it's not going to do much help, and they will fall. This is looking really split to pieces. Blue Eyes are going to get that space for it.
Valkyrie using the Valkyrie, trying to stay on the payload. But is this some like 5-head gigabrain stuff coming out from Blue Eyes? Was that a bait play with Fallen Angel to buy time for the Cassidy to flank onto the high ground? Because the Cassidy's going for it again underneath. Oh, the soldier anticipates it.
Oh, but Lion still wins out the fight. Grab underneath the ball, and that's free swing through from Fallen. Really strong performance here from Blue Eyes. They have not let this cart stop.
This is a little thing we in the industry stranger call a roll. And it's so brutal as well. It isn't even the Diamond Degens are playing bad. Blue Eyes have just been on an absolute tear. The composition swap from Diamond Degens I cannot praise enough. On paper, it works wonderfully, and I love what they're going for. Even changing it up a little bit more, going back to that Ryan Zarya, maybe that'll put a little bit more pressure on the payload and finally stop it from moving.
Yeah, this is their spot that they can really have some good impact. A great sleep dart to Juicy Cass. Gives a lot of space for the team. Lion makes good use of it with the headshot and the stun to be followed. So, oh my goodness. Lion needs to be stopped right now. They have that high ground advantage. So much power from up there. They can't be interrupted. And even if someone makes it up there, they have the stun. No one's pushing out for a second there. 4 minutes time, so there's just plenty to roll with. The zoning noon, they managed to pick up the one, and that's all that they need to make it happen.
And the 5-person shadow from Fallen Angel at the end of the round there. This Blue Eyes team is absolutely formidable. I had another team in my personal power rankings at the top of this, but Blue Eyes is already making me question that, and I haven't seen the other teams play yet. Oh, if this is a level of competition that we're seeing all the way around, we are in for an absolutely thrilling 2 days of this ANZ streamer face-off. But the map isn't done yet. Maybe it's just an offense favored round, and both these teams just do really well on the attack. And we'll have to see what comes out from Diamond Degens. Will they stick on that more poke pick composition, I guess, with the Baptiste and the Mercy? But I think on the offense, they could really benefit from running the Lucio, maybe stampeding the high ground. But even from the very little that we've seen picked already, the Pharmacy is a good shout. I like it. Klaus really struggled on the Pharah when unassisted last time around, but this time they won't have any problems because Valkyrie will have that blue damage beam on them at all times. And that isn't the only option there. Also looks like they're going to have the Bastion as well. So a little bit of cheese might be all they need. Hoping that Blue Eyes is like lactose intolerant or something. I don't know. But this defense, to be fair, it isn't a bad composition to take down a Bastion. They have the Cassie with the flashbang. They have the Maywall to wall them above shields, and the Brig. They have all the jazz to beat a Bastion strat. So maybe this is just a little bit of rock, paper, scissors coming out here.
There's a lot of pressure on Claws there as well to hit those shots and from the Pharah, keeping that vertical strength. They do a lot of good damage to get rid of the shields and displace this defensive position and walk this card on up. They're being very careful about that Bastion positioning too.
They are. They're actually showing a lot of respect towards the Bastion. Lion Mane finally having a fault in their steps and absolutely paying for it. Klaus finding the first blood.
So this is a huge amount of DPS removed for these guys. This is the chance to break through. A great boot keeps falling in line of sight for that Bastion, so they're able to get the damage output they need. Kai's going to get taken out as well, quickly deleted out, and we see the same momentum we saw before on the other side now.
I mentioned going into that fight how Blue Eyes had every tool imaginable to take out a Bastion, but it just didn't work because they were going into it 5v6 and instead they choose to switch it up entirely. I don't know how I feel about this. They seem to think that the Pharah is the bigger issue than the Bastion, and they have gone double hit scan Decimator, hopping over to the Widowmaker to try and put a lot more damage, and the Zen as well. The Pharah's going to have such a tough time here.
Lions found themselves a good little spot to the side, which forces Claws to come around and play that. And then they retreat smartly. Again, they're doing well to stay alive, but they're not putting a lot of pressure on Car here. A little bit of free space just being given away.
I think they need to wait up into that next corner. Oh, but the Pharah does go down.
Yeah, Lion could find Valk here as well. Juicy's found the line of sight, but Lion's going to get away with it. Peeking that high ground with so much strength. A nano boosted Reinhardt walks up to your face. What can you do? Absolutely nothing about it. Xbox does get that high ground to take out both DPS, but it's in vain as they get support rolled in the end. The team just not there to help them either.
Even on the Baptiste, they can't get that Reddit Lucio flare out of their hearts. Went for the frags, as always, on the Baptiste to Xbox Lucio. And now on the retake here, it will be a little bit harder for Diamond Degens. The Bastion composition really thrives when they're already set up on the payload, but payload has been given pretty easily for Angel backing up and actually dying as well. This is worst case scenario.
Grab in for the shatter. Jeezy gets taken out with the damage output, but Arcanine's got the backup. Nice value found in the end, and they're going to keep that W going. Not really faltering too much there. They did lose that fight before, but found their feet pretty quickly again.
Arcanine turned it up to 11 in that fight. They got like 4 picks and a really good grab onto both of the supports at the very start, maybe even the Widowmaker as well. So Arcanine certainly putting in work, already 30% up to another Graviton Surge as well. There is a little bit of time here where the payload is stopped and there is the map blocking the sightlines of the Bastion. So maybe that's an opportunity to challenge the cart, but no, it looks like Blue Eyes will be up on the high ground hoping to just poke from a distance, but I don't know if that's the right approach.
A good rock lands. It's like you said before, Diamond Degens, they might just be lactose intolerant, like you thought. They're struggling to get rid of this Bastion, and they're playing off the window now as well. The damage output is huge. Kai getting picked up instantly. Immortality field right there as well to just give them heaps of sustain. They get to sit there and just pump damage through. The shield doesn't have any chance. A res on Claws brings them back in the fight, but Lions right there hits the stun and the shot afterwards. You thought they might have missed, but they have it in the end. High Noon from above and just rains pain down with the triple. That wins in the fight.
Lion, an absolute nut on the Cassidy. Again, finding those high ground spots to unleash the High Noon and then the flashbang fan the hammer. I'm so keen for Lion to go up against Hash, who's also playing in this tournament, known for their flank Cassidy plays and the fan the hammers. Could be a little bit of a duel there, so I'm really keen to see that whenever that match does hopefully come around. But I'm getting ahead of myself. There is still a lot on Dorado to play, and the time banks aren't too indifferent. Diamond DJs have done a really good job of getting it to point C. We just need to make sure that they don't falter here.
They've got this high ground now to push in. Gravitic Flux grabs a whole bunch of them. Immortality Field is there to get the sustain through, but Lion's still pumping that bloody damage out like nothing else. And oh my goodness, great play to keep them at hand for now.
You talked about Lion there, but I'm pretty sure it was Fallen Angel going around the back and getting the charge into their own team. That was absolutely nuts from Fallen. The flank Reinhardt coming in huge in that fight, which was set up by a really nice Gravitic Flux from Kai on the Sigma. This is a good chance for the offense, though. They have a hefty ultimate advantage here, and the high ground has been taking. That's the second time the Sigma's been booped down.
They almost get the kill. They have to commit the grab to keep them in play. Another ult committed to that one kill as well. Gets claws taken out because they're stuck in place. This isn't experimental. Can't move around, unfortunately, right now. Xbox Lucio with good damage to win out the support fight. We've got to keep GZ Claps alive on the objective very hard. The Immortality Field's there. They use the Shatter to win the Ryan fight. May has the freeze, though, to keep themselves going as Lions still playing for that high ground. Great pin from GZ there. Really having great value through all these battles we see. And they keep that momentum going. There's only a few now to hold it here for Blue Eyes. They got to be smart. They don't want to get picked out at a time, but they got to get to subjective. Kai commits. They come in. The pin attempt from Fallen gives them the space they need, and GZ does get picked up. Reverse Shatter onto the rest of the team here. There's only a couple. Arcanine trying to hold it together, but they need the rest of the team to be pumping that damage and finding the picks. It's just not there for them, and they pull it back out the grass. 2 minutes left on this clock.
That was such a huge play from Fallen as well, getting the Earth Shatter, excuse me. I'm talking about 3 players, and all of them got eliminated. And now the kind of ultimate situation is a little bit flipped, Stranger. It is Blue Eyes who have all the ultimates to work with, and if they cycle them well, it could end quite splendidly for them. I'm a really big fan about how this team is taking the high ground on the defense. It's been a Lion main a lot of the time, but now it's like pretty much everybody up there except for the Ryan and the May.
Window used here to give them as much space as they can use. Degens really need to make sure they're using it to their full capacity. The May freeze onto the team, though, shuts down half of them. Blizzard actually killing Arcanine. The Noon's used to just get rid of GZ. They managed to get rid of a couple more picks as well to win that battle out, just burning that clock away.
That was absolutely fascinating fight. It opened up really nicely from the Xbox Lucio using that amplification matrix to fully clear the high ground, and it looked really good for them from there. But it was actually Decimator, or always Toxicity, chucking the Blizzard from the low ground up into that choke, and then going all the way up the stairs and cleaned up. That was a huge anticipated Blizzard there. It looked almost like a set play, so really nice play from the May.
Nano goes onto Lion, but the boot from Xbox Lucio puts them off that high ground and really does put a damper on the amount of output they can have. Fallen's a little overcommitted in the situation, does get picked up, so advantage could be here for Degens to move in. Great wall use here with the freeze as well, but reverse May wall coming up to block them and get some protection as well. Lion showing that dominance with the DPS there, the hit scan win out, and they've just got kills left, right, and center. Blue Eyes have found everything they need to keep it at hold. 20 seconds, maybe Xbox Lucio might be able to sneak in, but this is going to be tight.
I talked about earlier how Lineman was previously a tank player, but they aren't showing any signs of inexperience at all. They've been tearing up on the Cassidy. And this is Final Fight territory. Somebody needs to touch the payload. It looks like it will be Klaus on the Doomfist. Maybe a bit of an off roll for them, but they do get the tick, and that's all that matters.
Another Noon, though, from the top. Xbox Lucio's out of the fight. Support's not there for them. Shatter's a bit short from Fallen, but the ball... Oh, jeez, he just completely gets blocked out by the May wall. No value at all. The May walls have been fantastic. They even managed to slow their approach, which bought them heaps of space to help them with the fight. Strong performance once again. Blue Eyes, our champions.
They really are. But that is also a really good sign for me from Diamond Degens. They had a really, really good point A and B, even matching that Blue Eyes put up. But I think it'd be rude to not use this time to talk about Lion Mane, who is my Gamerfuel MVP for this match. They played so well, finding consistent value on the flanks, on the high grounds, with the ultimates and left clicks alike, Lion main was an absolute menace for Blue Eyes.
Jeez, for a person who's meant to be a tank main, they do a bloody good job on hit scan. Some fantastic uses of the dead eyes. I mean, they got that triple, they got a couple of crucial picks with them as well, and also just consistent damage output. Some of those fights earlier on, and like point number 1 were just pure, you know, like all the way out with left clicks all day, and that's all they needed. So really, really good performance from them. I have to agree with you. I think they're definitely our player of this match.
I'm also looking forward to this tournament again. There's so many like interactions between these streamers that we get the chance to kind of highlight here on broadcast. And another one that I hadn't brought up until now, Lion is actually a mod for Bus, who is probably the most notable player out of everybody around in this tournament, and they will be playing DPS against each other. And Bus has been playing a lot of Doomfist. They have an account called Busfist that I can pretty proudly say I'm pretty sure is on my Overwatch friends list. So that gets me something, right? But the Cassidy is a pretty hard counter to the Doom. So I'm really excited for that matchup when we get to it. It looks like the mod actually might come out on top.
I mean, that matchup is going to be pretty awesome to watch. I mean, Bus has a lot to show. Again, they're also meant to be a main tank player, but playing a lot of that DPS role lately, especially on stream. I've seen them, and obviously a strong performer. So yeah, that one's one to look out for sure.
It absolutely is, but it isn't where we are done for the night, Stranger. We have another game coming right off the bat. We have Feeders Incorporated coming up against Akatsuki. Had to work on that one, make sure I can say it right. With another abundance of talented streamers, gamers alike. Really notably, we get to see our Hash on the Cassidy flanking around, gets to compare to the performance that Lion just puts up, see if they can mirror it, even exceed it. So that's a really exciting match.
Just before we carry on with the competition, She's Unknown dropping that $5 into the charity. So thank you so much for that. And also Dixon coming in with the fatty 100. That's massive.
Dixon, I love you.
We might have set our bar too low here, folks. We're really pumping through. It's only game 1. We've got plenty to come.
Oh, so good. It's such a shame that Dixon can't be around for this tournament. Such a phenomenal player, and like such an impactful figure in the OCE community. Everybody loves Dixon. We miss you. I hope you're having a good weekend doing whatever you're doing that isn't participating in this tournament. You make me so upset. But we'll have to move it either way. But now we get to move straight into this next match, and we're going to take a brief little squiz at Feeders Incorporated. The tank line is going to be Vibarelli123 and Wanted Fruitcake. These players do have a little bit of synergy. I actually ran into them in ranked and had a few games with them just by coincidence, and they had some really good communication. I was really impressed by VB on the main tank, and they played really well. They had some really good comms, which I think will be beneficial for some of the players here. Wanted Fruitcake also played very well on the Diva, but also not afraid to play the Wrecking Ball, so make a little bit of distractions as well. Hash, I've said everything about them, the Cassidy, but the hit scan in general is where they really want to thrive. Brim was taken, looks like also more of a predominant hit scan player. Bit out of left field though, because you'd think being an ultimate Frisbee player, they'd want to throw the projectiles, right? It's like a Frisbee. But no, they're going for the hit scan nonetheless. And keeping everybody alive will be Mutnik and Elias Tinker. Mutnik returning from the previous tournament, this time on their main role of the support. So that is really, really exciting. They are a very high-level player, done very well in various Australian tournaments. And then Tink, last tournament, they were a bit of a noob, but they've developed into a little bit less of a noob. So that's pretty cool as well.
Moving on to Akatsuki. Over there, we've got Avatar, Liger, and Silicon Art. A very chill tank lineup to hold up that front line. Toxic creates and Tipsy Kitty, some very strong hit scan play there. So we might even get some double sniper or something interesting like that. So that'll be fun. And then Balkan Mystery, very consistent support role there. So very strong sustain. Hopefully that'll mean that their team can keep up in the long run and sustain through these long fights and win them out that way. So very cool with the double hit scan. I mean, that might force Feeders into like a double shield format or something. Quite interesting to see how those kind of affect each other.
That we'll have to see what happens with that one, I guess. But we do have a few key players on the field here. Tipsy Kitty, our third and final defending champion from the previous ANZ Rumble. We saw Arcanine and Kai in the last game. So we're getting them all on the field really, really early. The Tipsy Kitty, famous for their Ash, also famous for trying to damage people with their Baptiste healing orbs. Don't know if anybody remembers that, but that was a wee bit funny when that happened. But we also have a really interesting matchup in the support department. Mutnik and Bork are two very high level support players. Bork playing in contenders fairly recently. So I'm really excited to see how those two players match up against each other.
Yeah, these two teams, hopefully they'll be a little more even than what we just saw. I think that they both have quite strong support lines, which, like I say, might make these fights drag out a bit longer than that. It's all going to come down to how the tanks play around, and feeders, hopefully they don't actually live up to their name.
Yeah, it's one of the times that you really don't want to, but I guess anything is really on the field at the moment. Compositionally, not looking too different from anything that we've seen so far tonight. It will be Mutnik taking up the Baptiste, known more for their Brigitte and their Lucio, but I guess kind of plays everything when you've been playing the game at the high level like they are. The main tanks going for the Divas instead of the Zarya. Silicon is known for their Diva play, so I'm not at all surprised by that. Last tournament, they landed a few huge Diva bombs, and they've landed a few on their own stream as well, so do expect more of those. Both teams going for the telly, and both of them get onto the point.
Yeah, strong start here. The telly is just the way to go. We see Liger getting that front line strong. They push them out and they get the damage output to win the fight. So a great starting position to be here. You see the telly into the back from Fruitcake. They try and play something a little interesting, but it will get them picked out and maybe a bit later than they'd like to.
Mutnik's experience might have actually been a detriment to them there. They went through the telly so quickly, but the rest of the team was just a little bit hesitant. And if everybody isn't on the same page, you're really going to struggle. So I really hope to see that kind of eliminated from Feeders Inc.'s lineup as this tournament goes on, I guess.
Yeah, Akatsuki strong here on this point, and they're not looking to give this up anytime. They can see the damage output that puts so much pressure on Vibrilli's shield. They're not really able to just hold that up the whole time. We're starting to get into old territory here now.
Yeah, particularly it's going to be the Earth Shatter from Liger, seeing if they bring something out, but it is actually the Baptiste and the Symmetra popping first.
This barrier should give them a lot of advantage. You can see it makes it very difficult for Feeders to actually move in. Liger with a fantastic pin there, and if they can get Fruitcakes before they get away, they won't quite actually manage to, and Liger actually gets picked up, so working not in their favor as they would have wanted. They do get Hash out. The res attempt here to bring them back in. They will manage to have that as well, so they've got the manpower once again to move in, especially with a soldier roll like that. Bryn managing to just sweep through this point and looking for that convert over at 50%.
Yeah, Bryn really was the star player of that fight for Feeders Incorporated. They took out the Diva Mech, which let their soldier go off without being eaten. So really nice play, eliminating the threats. And then Hash is able to pick up the scraps with the High Noon. And we won't see a 99-0 Lijiang Tower this time, Stranger. Both teams are on the board nice and early. And this next fight should be pretty okay for Feeders Incorporated. They have the amplification matrix, which in these chokes is really, really punishing. And they also have both tank ultimates coming up really, really speedily. So do watch out for that.
Yeah, but really could make the shatter work very well. And they do indeed. Round the corner to clean up. Liger's trying to do the same, but the window does get burnt out. Not getting a whole lot of value through it in the end because of all the disruption. Diva Bomb right to the back doesn't connect as they needed, but it doesn't matter. They've already cleaned up this fight nicely with pure damage. Yeah,
we were talking about the main support, the AIM support matchup earlier, excuse me, Mutnik and Bork, and so far Mutnik has been getting the better of it. They had a really good amplification matrix, and the immortality field kept them alive and able to keep them in that fight, even though both Ryans landed huge shatters. Both teams just wrote the Ryans walking into the other team's territory and just pressing Q for the heck of it, so why not? But going into this next fight, it will be Silicon Art with that Diva Bomb. Can they make something happen?
Another good use of the barrier here. Opens a lot of space for them. They're going to commit a lot to the fight all in one go, and it definitely works for them. There's the boops we were looking for. Mystery just making their name there with the double, and they just got to clean the final few off. Elias knew what was up. The convert will happen.
all the environmental kills for Akatsuki. That was insane. I feel like a lot of those players were actually getting booped off the map by the Diva Bomb as they were in the Immortality field, but Mystery came in on the Lucio to make sure that those players did indeed go off the map. Some real highlight Lucio play. They're going for the environmental kills. We love to see it. But now that puts Feeders Incorporated on the back foot. How are they going to approach this point? It looks like they might want to engage with the Valkyrie, but they have to make sure they don't get their wings clipped by Tipsy Kitty.
Yeah, Hash's Noon that's coming up is going to be really important. They got to dodge this window as well, which puts a lot of pressure onto that right-hand side. They play to the left, which is really smart, but they need to get on the point here as we enter the final 10%. They want to use the window themselves. The hammer comes down. Noon attempts, but gets shut down with the pure damage. The swing right on top of them. Bryn's ult gets mostly blocked off by Liger, and they eat a hammer for it as well. Hash can't get there in time. Oh man, Akatsuki, strong performance there, was close, but they came out on top.
Spectacular shatter from Avatar Liger to clean up that final fight there. Just jumping through the choke again, jumping past the opposition Reinhardt's shield to land it onto a good chunk of players to get them all out of the equation. But now we get a little bit of different scenery going into Lijiang Tower. VB teasing the Winston. Have we really seen any Winston tonight yet? I don't really recall. It seems fairly Reinhardt and Orisa dominated.
Yeah, there's a little bit of Zarya sprinkled in there, but the Ryan has been strong, so cool to see a monkey come out.
And Toxic was looking at maybe going for the Pharah, but instead they will be going for the Sim, making sure everybody gets to the point. Mutnik going for the boot. Oh, they're successful. Oh, no, they are.
Oh, it looked like it. Man, they're struggling to find it off the telly in the end. They will find some good damage nonetheless to keep themselves dominant on this point, though. Got to look for the switch up. Fruitcake's trying to hold the front line all they can, but Liger's getting to swing away freely, and it's a lot of damage and pressure to deal with. They have to back up here, and the point will finally open up.
They took a while to actually get on the payload. I was worried Akatsuki weren't going to, but eventually they do get around to it. And that signature aggression holding so far forward. Liger coming up on that Earth Shatter, and with no other Reinhardt to worry about as VB is on the Winston, this could be a pretty easy shatter. But the counterpoint to that is everybody will be really spread out. They have lots of movement abilities to try and avoid it. So Avatar might want to go for a bit of a like 1 or 2 person slay instead of a big team play.
Hash with the telly to the point to try and split them, then comes in the monkey to do the same. So they're really working on splitting them, but in the end they actually focus down even more, and monkey will fall. Beat drop here to give them help, but they have the shield on the other side to block off. So it's getting very hard for Feeders to get any sort of space into this battle, especially with that barrier that they use so perfectly to just shut down Bryn and Elias there. Mutnik the fall. They got no supports. The battle is out.
You know how a Liger is a lion and a tiger? What are we? Are we a streaky or a ninja?
I mean, which one do you like more?
I'm a fan of streak. It's like bacon. That's pog.
Are we like crispy cut or thin, or what's the?
Oh, crispy.
Yeah.
A little bit of crisp on it, but not too much because then it becomes overwhelming.
They have the beat drop, the shatter as well. Liger's just going to keep asserting that dominance. The Noon just not effective like they could have wanted. The Diva Bomb is an attempt to shut down something, but it doesn't end up landing. They still managed to get quite a bit of space here out of the fight. It's interesting. Liger seemed to have control there, but it didn't work out for them.
Yeah, VB on the Winston just made so much space that the rest of the team was able to get some positioning, and Bork, who was the final shimmering light for Akatsuki, is taken out, and that does result in a point flip for Feeders Incorporated. So the Winston composition was a success, but they had to use a lot to get that done. They're only coming up on the soundbar, and even that is still a while away. So if Akatsuki want to engage pretty quick here, and they will with that Lucio speed boost, it could be a pretty quick retake, and at 93%, that's almost round and map winning.
Yeah, if Silicon hits a fat bomb here, that could be really massive as well. This is great use of the barrier right down the point to split it. Mutnik does manage to get that sound barrier off, so this gives them a bit of health sustain through the battle they desperately needed. And they do find a Toxic as well, which is a great value pick to help them win this battle out. There's the follow-up, Mystery to fall, Tipsy. Silicon with the ult to try and clean up that backline, but it goes a little too deep. The barrier's protective. Liger hitting a good shatter, cleans up too for themselves, but the rest of the team's not there to help them out, so they're gonna have to be very careful. They do get picked out, so almost finding the value they needed, but it wasn't quite enough.
It wasn't. They used so much there as well, so they really compromised the rest of the map here. And in that fight, the rest of Feeder's Inc. was able to come up with a few ultimates. Expect that nano boost from Tink to go straight onto the Winston, who'll be able to go really aggressive into that backline, or even just put some pressure on the tanks. Rin taken down by a right click. Nice little shot from Toxic creates.
Yeah, that's massive. You know, having Bryn to harass that backline, it's going to let their supports really play well. Here's Monkey with that ult as to be expected. V Barilli going hard on it and making good value out of it. Gets frozen solid and the whole team is focusing them down. The rest of the team need to make sure that they're getting those kills while everyone's turned away. Fruitcake with a good ult right to the back, but the barrier comes up to block it. Liger's all over that, keeping the team going, and they've done all the work they need to get the convert back. This is going to be super tight with only 7% to gain, and with Mutnik falling, I think it pretty much seals it for them. Wrecking Ball will make it on, surely. Oh, the boop!
Yeah, that was an unreal boop. Was that from Mystery? Because that Wrecking Ball went so far up, I don't even know how that happened.
I think he surfed up the roof, like, just to the moon.
My man's playing the wrong game. This isn't Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, dude. My man, holy dooly, sorry, a massive Thunderstrike just went off near me. That's scared the daylights out of me. If I cut out, that's why. But we move. Mystery Horse.
Boop.
Is that the boop? Oh, it so is. Oh, that was on the other side. The Diva Bomb did get an environmental kill, but that was on one side of the map. Mystery Horse got the environmentals on the other. So really covering all bases between Silicon and Mystery there.
Though it hard, that's for sure. You're all right? You didn't get lightning struck there?
No, I'm alive and I have lights. So I think we move, but outside it's looking a little bit spooky. So I'm shivering in my timbers a little bit, stranger.
Yeah, Akatsuki, fantastic play there. I mean, they really did show some strength throughout that whole matchup. We saw they had a dominant performance at the very beginning of the round, and then Liger's just been playing so well. That Ryan spacing well. Silicon, I'm waiting for that big fat Diva Bomb. I know it's there. It's just got to come out. I think Hash has been having a hard time getting where they need to be to just have that output that they want. I know we were expecting big things from their Cassidy, but they've been playing that Reaper, playing up close. So maybe a bit of a change up there might be good for them.
Potentially, especially when we go over to Dorado, where that long range is a little bit more viable, because there's a lot of high ground and stuff that the Reaper, it's a lot more long range, so the close range nature of Reaper really struggles. So I would expect a little bit of a switch up, even maybe over to something like an Ashe. We know that that is in their hero pool, the Ashe. That's a little tough twist of Stranger. Try and bust that one out mid-fight. Nice. But it'll have to happen either way. But we're heading to Dorado. We did see, what did we see? We saw a lot of Lucio and a lot of Baptiste. Maybe we'll see a little bit of Mercy. We did see Tink on the Mercy for a little bit there, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that one again. And Mystery Horse, we know she can bring that one out as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that either. Really accommodate Tipsy on that long range hit scan. This is where they should thrive even more than they did in that previous map on Li Jiang. The sight lines should be really beneficial for her to bring out the Ashe that she's so well known for.
Yeah, I think like you were saying, that length of sight really does fit into their play. But we got to remember that both teams are strong on this hit scan. So when we break up this line of sight a bit more, we might have that freedom. We were talking about, Akatsuki having like a doubled sniper potentially. So I don't think Hash is going to have all the freedom that they might want, and the tanks are really going to have to be careful with how they protect their team.
Yeah, the tank play is going to be a massive deal here, and the Reinhardt is just a lot more protecting, I guess, than a Winston is, just because the shield is a little bit more sturdy and like blocks off a little bit more damage than the bubble does, I guess. So that it might be a little bit of a factor into it. But on the other side, the Winston can maybe do a little bit of better peel and can actually deny the heals on the other side by like encapsulating the other supports in the Winston bubble. So there's a few ways that you could look at it, but without a doubt, the tanks will be important.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see this. I think, yeah, as we thought, Mystery might pull out that Mercy, so we do see that strength there. Toxic pulling out the May as well, so I like that. You know, May has that strength with that right click. The wall on Dorado is so powerful at multiple points throughout the map and can be very effective in winning a team fight out on its own. So excited to see how they use that defensively.
Yeah, we saw it done really nicely in point C in just our previous game by Decimator. So they did a really nice job, and I wouldn't be surprised if Toxic was able to pull out something similar. But on the defense, pretty stock standard stuff. Tipsy opting for the Cassidy and not the Ashe. So playing a little bit more close range, maybe anticipating the dive. That flashbang would be really, really good at shutting down a Winston or anything of the sorts. And it looks like that's exactly what VB is bringing to the table.
Yeah, feeders have to be smart about their positioning here. The high ground is going to be very hard for them to contend. They have to kind of move up with that monkey and close the gap. So hopefully the team might come to them even.
Wouldn't be bad. It looks like the Winston does get in though, and the Zarya bubble keeps them alive. A little bit of charge for Fruitcake as well. And going in for the Winston dive actually forces everybody back. So now the fight is off the high ground. So Bryn can just take that positioning as the Hanzo and use it all they want.
Liger's trying to play super aggressive, but has to use the full barrier. It goes down, Immortality fell as well, and they go down quickly after. So that just shows you the damage output right now from Akatsuki, just punching through it. They have to use the May to stall. Tipsy gets nice and close with the flashbang and evens it up just a little bit. Bryn not so good in that front line. They need to be careful about their spacing, but still they got rid of the Liger tank line, and so that can keep pushing this cart slowly. Liger does get back in the fight now, but the monkey into the back to disrupt. Up comes the window, and they use it very effectively to shut down Vibarelli, who doesn't have any fun at all. That cart's still slowly sticking up, but I think they should be able to stop it here.
Yeah, Tipsy on the Cassidy getting his last few picks through the amplification matrix. Oh, make it a third! Tipsy. Oof. Very nicely done by them. They opt. Let me finish! Oh my goodness!
Damage buff.
So OP. Somebody check their computer. This isn't normally. The offense. Not even the offense to defense. This is going to be such a stacked fight in the ultimate department, Stranger. There are so many that are online or will come online during the fight. So this is going to be a little bit chaotic. I think the really big hitters, though, will be the Blizzard from Toxic and also the Nano Boost from Tink. If Mutnik can, as a Transcendence as well, if they are able to use that to counter, that could be really good.
Yeah, Bryn's got some great potential here to just put so much pressure on Liger's shield, and you can see that already happening just from down the middle there. They're just doing what they can. Then it gives them a chance to move in the back like this. Vibarelli with the boost, even though they get stunned. High Noon committed for them. They have the bubble, which blocks it out, so they're fine, and they survive and get away. They have to use the Blizzard to try and stop the rest of the team, but a good Dragons cleans up through. We get Hash off to the side, not quite connecting as they want. They actually do manage to get Silicon out of the mech here, so this should give them all the space they need. Quite a few ults committed, but they had the value in the end that they needed to get the point.
It did take them 5 ultimates, so Stranger, and that is nothing to bat an eyelid at. But to be fair, all of them found value, so we can't really judge it too much. This point B is where I expect to see Hash find... Oh, there's more Thunder. Hash to find a little bit more value out of the flank Cassidy style that they're so well known. Also, how did Mutnik get up there?
You just pro gamer chair.
Ah, he's probably wearing gloves too.
But he could have made the jump around the corner.
Pro gamer, by the way.
Man, that's funny. Yeah, a good position, but not very useful for the long run. We see Vibarelli getting in there again. Still keeping that pressure on. They get in that bubble every time they go in, but the damage output on that front line, especially with that window up, is terrifying. Fruit's just using the cart as full protection, and it forces them to move around to get them, but they do actually find the connection. Tipsy's getting great shots off here to help with this defense.
They really are, and there's also Bork up on the high ground, but speaking of the Cassidy flank, there comes Hash, but they're scouted out. Ooh. The high ground is taken for Hash, but like white on rice, Silicon Art is all over Hash there.
Liger flattening the field there, but in comes the protective support ult from Mutnik to keep the team going, and they actually win the fight out because of it. So fantastic support play there. keeps the team rolling as they round this corner. It's getting close to the point number 2 here. Bork on that high ground, getting bullied by this monkey constantly. I love that endless pressure. Bork managing to find a kill even after being left behind for a second. Bryn goes for the trade. Silicon hits that Diva Bomb I wanted, taking out a big tank. Liger's there as well to put the damage out. So they've kept this card at bay. Mutnik's going to get taken out slowly but surely. It's a bit of a delay on that.
And not only is it Tipsy and Toxic taking... excuse me, I messed up. Mutnik has been trying really hard on the Zenyatta to find these flank angles, maybe feeling like they have to put in a little bit more damage than they actually have to. I don't know if the flank plays have actually been beneficial for them or not, but they've been going for them either way, and we are really yet to see them succeed besides that pro gamer move that went horribly, horribly wrong for them. So maybe they can whiff another one, I don't know.
Akatsuki have just been so good at scouting out all these spots. You just see constantly upcoming those searches. The Noon from the inside the bubble. Dragon comes through, but again, Hash doesn't manage to connect it as they want. Liger's in the higher ground here with Borg. Interesting positioning, gives them some strength, and we do get Tipsy returning the favor. Neither of these Cowboys sighted up their guns right. They can't seem to connect those ults together. And Vibarelli, desperate hold on the point, but they will be held off again. This is really strong hold here by Akatsuki.
It looks like Tink didn't hear the dragon there, which isn't at all uncommon. Sometimes she does get her teammates to call out those ultimates for her with her hearing, but they did actually get picked off by it, so which is a little bit unfortunate. And from then on, there wasn't much of a chance. But this next fight, there's a lot to play for. They have the nano boost, which will go onto VB once again, go nice and aggressive, maybe put a little bit of pressure on Bork. They're going in.
They've got that boost on the monkey again. The dragons to cover off high ground, which does give them a lot of advantage in this power. We see Bork up behind with the window, which is quite good pressure, but with the rest of the team struggling out in that back line, they have to give up some space. Liger does manage to get back to stop the car. Marknik taking Bork out from that spot as well, which is strong, but this front line is so effective as Liger just walks up and takes all the room they need. Now Mutnik's caught out, and they're probably going to get trickled again. The timing is not good for them. They force out the ult from it. Just to regroup with the team.
Regrouping with just Hash. It looks like both of them are going for the flank up in the cellar portion of Dorado Point B. Will they get scattered out there? I think they only think the Zen is back there, but there's actually two. But no, now they definitely know who's there.
Dragons covers car to force Monkey into the ult. Hash comes in with a nice one, shutting down the Cowboy. They get rid of Bork as well. These are the kills they need to push at the final moments. The hammer down absolutely interrupted for Liger. Oh, they're going to want that back in the next fight.
It happens, I guess. With these close range fights in Point C, their shadow should get built up pretty quickly again. And it's not like the other team has an abundance of ult to work with either way. So I don't think it's too big of a deal at the end of the day. This is going to be a fairly neutral fight. And oh no, Silicon unable to fly back over their edge. That is so unfortunate. Not even a deep, handsome voice can save you from that one.
Oh, poor Silicon, yeah, getting bullied hard there. This gives them a lot of space. I see that they're playing to the high ground, which is very smart. Gives them a lot of strength. They get a lot of protection up there as well. Vibber really playing that super well just to put some pressure on. They go up again early, buying all that room. It forces out a Mentality field, which is great. But Kid has the angle with the high noon to find two. The rest of the team goes in. Liger connects that pin as they could have wanted to clean up the rest of them as Kitty just continues the damage output. Mutnik's not afraid to do some damage for themselves, but they get left alone and there's only 30 remaining.
And that's the type of championship caliber play I expect from Tipsy Kitty. That was so good. 3 kills in that fight. Definitely being the superior Cassidy in that instance, and it looks like they will be on the payload going into this final fight. That will make touching for Bryn and VB an absolute nightmare because they're just going to get flashed up straight away.
Yeah, this is their chance. Last 3 seconds to make it in. VB really has to use the ult for the sustain at the point. Overtime is in play. The Dragons completely encapsulate that point, but it doesn't matter because they managed to get rid of Tipsy, which is good damage removal. Silicon bomb right by the car, and taking out Elias Tinker means the healing hugely reduced for feeders here. That shatter as well is going to put the real brakes down. Monkey deleted from the fight, and then in the end they'll stop it just shy.
Wasn't a bad push at all. Most of the way through Point C is pretty darn respectable, but it means that we also will not go to extra rounds, and we will have a winner of this map decided in the next 5 or so minutes, I guess. We could see past point 2 for once. We could get to go to our third map, which from memory is King's Row Winter. I have to specify it is winter. It isn't the summer one. Is the other one even summer? Isn't UK just kind of always in winter either way? How does that work?
Yeah, it's like more winter.
Winter and winter times 2.
Yeah, winter.
Winter. That's a cool gamer tag. It's like ## and winter. I kind of stand that. Somebody make a Twitter account. Somebody make a winter Twitter account.
God. That's just a picture of the map.
Yeah, for sure. And it has # in there somehow. So it has like the Cassidy in like a absolutely bonkers spot that they absolutely shouldn't be in. Yeah, that sounds like it could work.
Sounds legit.
Oh man, we'll have to see what # does on the defense here though. Pretty stock standard stuff. That double hit scan, which we have come to expect out of Feeders Inc. Excuse me. But on the other side of the field is where it starts to get interesting. It looks like Tipsy was teasing the Echo, which they are also known for. They had a round in the last tournament where they played really well on the Echo, but it looks like they will stick to the Ash here, but they do not have a Mercy Pocket.
Silicon tried to go high there, help out and get them off that point, but in the end they got bullied out with the multiple tanks. Liger's now been caught in a bad spot. Viva drops on the point. This tank positioning is fantastic. It's already buying them some time early in, and they're perfectly healthy from it all.
Yeah, they have perfect sightlines for the healers, and it also makes it really hard for anybody to challenge the high ground. Not that compositionally Akatsuki actually have much to use to challenge that high ground. The most they really have is Mystery on the Lucio, who would kind of get decimated if they went up there. But what is his positioning from the Ana? Oh, well, that's not an Ana, that's a Hanzo. That makes a bit more sense then, my bad. Procaster, by the way.
Feeders doing a pretty good job of keeping things in place, as we see. I thought they were a bit better on the attack than defense, but so far they're showing me wrong. Very, very solid beginnings of this round.
Yeah, not bad at all. And it is still VB up on that high ground. Really nice position. They'll get a whole bunch of cleave up towards that Primal Rage. But no, everybody's passing all the way under. I wonder if they know what's up. Surely they have to think something's going on.
Yeah, they definitely have an idea. Hash is waiting for it. They're holding off the angle. They got to be careful about the card as well, though. This is a great play because it just splits the team up. You can see how it's worked. So Hash is in trouble now if they don't get some help out in the back. They will get picked up, but in the end, Vibrili's been going ham and just shuts down 2 there and looking for the 3rd if possible as the rest of the team backs them up. That's the damage output you need with only losing 1. Pretty effective fight.
Yeah, VB getting a whole bunch of work done, assisted by that nano boost from Mutnik that time round. So really, really great stuff. And this DPS up on the high ground has just really hasn't faced any competition yet. Silicon had a pretty good play onto ##, but that was 1 kill while VB was going ham in their own backline. So they need to figure out how to take this high ground, and it looks like the method that they're choosing is just pathing all the way up. But with a few respawns, this high ground might come to them a little bit easier than it did last time, and a lot of space is being given up, but the payload's rolling back.
Feeders have burnt a lot of time here. This is really good for them. They just want to keep that momentum. They know they got to be careful here. They can't afford picks. Liger wants to close that gap, so they go in for the play. The team needs to make sure they're keeping up with it. This is the Dragons to try and split the team in half, but it's a little bit to the left, so they're not really too bothered by it. Window to follow up. Oh, lovely stuff. Bork just eats some bullets to the face while they're nooning, so not going to get anything out of that. Fruit with a great Diva Bomb as well to clear some out of the field. They go for the res to bring Hash back into this fight. They want that damage output on this front line. But still, great play. Look at the monkey nano boosted on the cart, just not letting any space. We see the visor. It gets shut down from Tipsy, though, with a great headshot. Bolts being shut down left and right. Silicon does manage to connect the one they want, and they might just have it here with a few desperate kills at the last moments. A full commit.
Was that a nano visor as well that was shut down by Tipsy on the Ash? That is such a clutch play when under pressure from the attack visor to take them out. Huge stuff from Tipsy Kitty, and now they have used that coach gun, take the high ground, and they will have huge sightlines all over Dorado Point B. They're in a really good spot to scout out the ## flanks and where it's coming from before it even starts, really. They'll have sights of all the pathing. Speaking of flanks, everybody from Akatsuki is going coast. It'll be like a bit of a opposing high ground brawl, but it is just left Silicon out to dry on the payload.
It might not be too bad. I think In the end, they do lose Mystery, but the damage could be there for themselves if they don't get too split. That monkey in from the behind them really made it difficult for them to stay together as a team. So a pretty nice cleanup, and they actually didn't lose a whole lot of space out of that either.
Excuse me, no, they've kept the high ground, and the hit scans up there will just continue to do work, much similarly to how they did on point A. So again, back to a really good spot for Feeders Inc. The Winston also has a really nice opportunity to drop down to the payload without using their abilities. So great stuff all the way around.
Yeah, Feeders have been playing off their map really well in this, and it's showing the advantage that it's giving them. They're winning those fights out, just finding that individual pick on the pressure on the shields, making it hard to defend. It's really working well for them.
The high ground is trying to be taken once again, but this time they have the amplification matrix to help them out. Fruitcake. How do they stay in mech there? And
Liger's popping off. They want to get a reverse pin off the roof, leaving their supports behind with the nano monkey. So Mystery not having such a great time out of it in the end. They still get some space here, but Hash has that high ground, drops down and actually gets shot mid-drop. So just absolute Kree dominance there. Beautiful.
Nice little play from Toxic, getting the one up on the Cassidy. The dynamite from Tipsy just forces the soldier back, and they will have another visor. Will it be 2 from 2 tactical visor shutdowns for Tipsy Kitty? We'll just have to wait and see, I guess. Tipsy is just helping push the payload.
Only 2 meters remaining, and Bryn brawls out the visor from the high ground. Silicon's trying to do what they can to block it out, but it's a futile attempt as they find 4 out of the whole lot. Hash is pumping that damage out too, and the whole push is just completely shut down. Unfortunate. They're actually going to really delay the kill on Silicon too. Oh, this is brutal.
So sad. How could you bully Silicon? He's like the kindest dude. Oh, I'm really angry now. I want them to lose. I want Feeders Inc. to lose.
Oh, God. Geez.
That is mean. But also, after the much carefully considered evaluating and calculating, I can confirm that Tipsy Kitty did not shut down the tac visor because Bryn went absolutely massive. So props to Bryn for getting that tac visor off. Wasn't even nano boosted either. It was just a really nice damage boost. Even with Silicon hard up in their face, it did a great job.
Well, here's Bob to try and make some space, gets put to sleep. The Noon not connecting for Feeders. So here's the chance, the opening for Akatsuki to just walk on in and clear up this objective. They've only got a short distance to go. Diva Bomb on the point. Fruitcake actually managing to connect that with Mystery, but gets taken out. And now it's only Hash who can stop it at 1.50 m in the overtime. They will make it.
Point C, baby. We going there. Liger is looking to push a little bit far forward, and that shadow could actually be really detrimental in this final phase of the map. With the nano boost coming online for Mutnik as well, I imagine that'll be chucked onto VB as it has been this whole time. There is no visor in sight to warrant doing anything differently. And up in this hallway is really dangerous for Feeders Inc.
Lovely dragon positioning to try and clear out some of that high ground, but Vibrilli's just so good with these ults, always finding great value. Silicon left on the cart alone gets bullied by multiple players, so they really are making great use of these ults to just destroy multiple players in one go.
Absolutely, doing an excellent job and holding strong with about 40 seconds left. We are looking at final fight territory for Akatsuki. They did win the first map though, right? So wait, yeah. So we can still go to map 3 either way. So the rest of the series is kind of decided right here.
Well, Feeders, they want to make it. They want to make it onto their board for sure. I like this high ground play, the split. Silicon keeping to the attention of some. There's the shadow, but they fall off the edge before it has too much value. Liger still managing to win out the tank battle, but Mystery getting taken there by Hash, which is great value from this DPS line. Toxic as well to delete Elias. So Mutnik's going to have to hold this whole team in the defense for a moment here as we fall into overtime. They cannot leave this cart any longer. The pressure is on. They don't even have to get it the whole way, but it's still in a difficult position to move it to the boot to get the monkey away, get some space out. Liger's trying to play close. Aggressive beat drop from Mystery here as the nano boost comes on to Vibrilli. They play that space, but another visor is brutal. It really is damage from all directions. No Noon connection, but it doesn't matter. Liger's trying to play off that bloody visor. It's just so much damage. Bork to fall. Toxic's gone as well. So the DPS line, Silicon has to go for the desperation. Oh, will it connect with a couple? It does find the one. No one gets taken out on the return, but Mystery gets stunned. and they stop it just shy. Whew.
Feeders Inc. do get that map on the board. The chat in the lobby is pretty impressed by that one as well, all the way around. And here is a little bit of a closer look at that tack visor from Barin, all the way up on the high ground. Getting a few dinks, and everybody was so low. They didn't stand a chance. Even with Silicon up on there, it just wasn't going to amount to much at all. The cleanup at the end was brutal. And Dorado is done and dusted, so is Lijiang Tower. That leaves only one thing, which is King's Row.
Go in there.
Very excited. I didn't bring a jacket though.
So
I didn't bring one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do I put it back on now? Like,
I have one.
I might put my beer up.
I have like a
King's Row.
What? I'm so prepared for the cooler climate, man. But I guess we'll have to see what happens. And on a more serious note, though, I think King's Row is probably the best scenario for Akatsuki, purely because it has been them that has been opting for the Reinhardt the most of the time. And King's Row is just such a Reinhardt favored map. So I am excited to see how that goes. VB might have to hop off the Winston back onto the Reinhardt, which they were running on Lijiang either way. So it isn't completely out of their comfort zone. I've played with them on the run before. They have made some excellent shot calls and really can navigate a team around their Rhine play. And with Mutnik playing as well, who is on the main support, they will certainly have their impact felt as well.
Yeah, these two teams are a lot closer than our first showing. They're definitely neck and neck in some of these moments. We see them. There's a bit of a power struggle back and forth, which makes for great Overwatch, of course. I think that the Coles really are struggling to get those connections with those Noons a lot of the time, and I think that just shows the strengths of these tank lines that are doing so great to defend against those lines of sights with the shields and barriers. So very good tank play from them. I must commend them. It's been a struggle for these guys to even connect even one or two good Noons. So good job by them.
Absolutely. I agree with everything you said there, but I do not agree with how you just called out our previous match.
Oh, well.
You just said they sucked, dude.
No,
I'm gonna tell on you.
They did their best, and that's all you can ask for.
You sound like my mum after soccer.
You get a participation award.
Yeah, man. I tried to kick it. I didn't even play soccer. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I think Xbox Lucio might have just wanted to come up from the underdog position, just make their way up for the show. Helping us craft the narratives, the lower bracket final run. I get where you're coming from. That's what Tink did in the previous tournament. They lost pretty early on, but then just fought all the way through from that losers bracket up into the grand finals, where eventually they did, of course, lose because Hubble Bubble was kind of correct. It's so Christmassy. I forgot how this map looks. This is so cool. Yeah, plenty of snow. Look, other than that, it's normal.
The real question is, there's some Christmas lights too. Don't shame the map.
Yeah, all right.
All
right.
I think my big issue is the golden statue on point A. Why didn't they make that a Christmas tree?
I think that's a major slip up. And now that you pointed out, I completely agree. They've just failed. I'm
gonna start a Twitter hashtag: cancel Kings Row Winter.
Yeah.
Oh, we can cancel the Twitter account we made earlier.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, we've got it. We're gonna cancel them. I'm writing a tweet long as we speak. That's fantastic. Oh my goodness. I talked about how maybe VB would want to hop back on the Rhine, but it looks like they're going for the Wrecking Ball instead. So really flexing their tank muscles a little bit, showing that they can really play the whole bunch. I'm curious as to how this is going to play, though. I'm excited to see Fruitcake on the Sigma. I think with how well the DPS played on when they were able to hold a high ground, having a Sigma shield up in front of them is going to make them even more deadly.
Yeah, they're going to have to be smart about it. Akatsuki have to move around this to really be effective with it. I like that they split them, make them feel that it needs to come down into point already as they kind of rock themselves up. This first tick, the fight very disrupted. They might have kept that high ground, but if you can't stop the point from being gapped, you're going to lose the match. So they have to come down at some point, and coming down one at a time like this is not going to work well. Look at Liger just loving it, finds the pickup. We do manage to get some damage output back though, as this fight gets a bit more split from the returners. Elias bringing Fruitcake back in the fight as well, and they've held this out even though it looked a bit rocky there.
Yeah, losing VB so early into the fight should have been really, really bad, but they managed to hold on. VB is playing into an absolute minefield of crowd control that is not at all exciting. They just get flashed up and they get frozen, booped back into the team, and they're dead meat, really. Or dead metal?
Dead metal.
That sounds like my Spotify Wrapped at the moment. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But VB...
go, ooh, fast move around the side. I mean, Liger basically was speed running onto this objective. They've nearly got this cap. Someone has to get on it. A desperation play from Weber early. They even commit the Mercy ult as well, but they have the Immortality Field, freedom up there. Hash managed to connect on Tipsy, and they even at the last few moments managed to get themselves back on this point. They need to be very careful not to walk off for a second, because it could cost them. But Fruitcake's got good dominance here, and they managed to pick up the last two as they pushed them into this room. Jeez, that was touch and go for a second.
Yeah, they managed to hold on again, but with that only one tick left of like wiggle room, I guess, on point A, they really need to get onto that point a bit quicker, because that was a real close shave and not in the nice sense. So they have to be really cautious of how they play that, but they did a really good job of holding onto it, mainly because they had the DPS coming from two different angles, and they were just always able to find damage behind the shield. So making Liger's job really hard, and Silicon gets shredded.
Yeah, Jace roasted straight away. The Gravitic Flux taking both supports to the sky. Tipsy shutting down Mutnik, but Bryn's in that high ground again with another deadly visor damage boosted. And the value is definitely found as the rest of the team help to clean up the final few. Toxic not having any of it, and they've only got a minute 30 to get this final tick now.
A minute 30 indeed. I'm just looking at this double hit scan play. And I'm really excited for them to come up against the Colton Stock Commanders. On paper, I thought they would be the best double hit scan team, but it looks like these guys might be giving them a run for their money. So if we do get around to that matchup, I'm really excited to see how that goes on. So do keep your eyes out for that later on in the stream, maybe even tomorrow, we don't know.
Great wall. This gives them some space to get underneath, but they have to be smart and fast. I like this counter rotate, but Elias does end up getting picked up. Bryn's stuck there. The freeze stops him from falling off in time. These are the kills they need to secure this point. High Noon off from the top bars, but Hash doesn't let it off in time while he's up there. The barrier to come on and block them out completely, and this tick will happen. First point will go in their favor.
That was just by raw attrition too. They didn't have to actually use many ultimates to get that one on the board. It puts them in a really good spot for point B, and the staggers. Oh no, it looks like Fruitcake might get caught out as well. But Bryn coming to their aid, but no, it won't be enough. Fruitcake is getting staggered. Liger going for the pin, but can't even connect. Let the man get a pin, man. Come on.
Look how much space they've taken here. They're all the way up at this next objective. They just want to assert that dominance, let that cart freely flow the whole way, and just have no problems with it. It's going to have to be a hard push back in for the defense.
It will be a 5v6 though, because it is Silicon Art all the way back on the payload. Probably just reading chat, like setting up some command or something. I don't know, doing some Twitch thing that they're able to do. Maybe they're just thinking about how cute their voice is. I don't know.
You've been pretty hard about that one, huh?
Do you reckon he does that and just sits there and talks about how cool his voice is?
Probably not, no. Blizzard comes up a little short there from Toxic. I think it didn't quite land where they could have wanted. The team couldn't capitalize on it very well either. So you can see them as they get pushed back heavily. Hash is literally face tanking, actually gets picked up for that overextend, which was a little bit aggressive. And maybe they could do a counter push here, but Liger's coming and swinging. They're even going to commit the Gravitic Flux there as well. Didn't pick anyone up. So they're not afraid to just put money on the table for this one.
Yeah, but on the other side of things, you really wouldn't mind having that ultimate back, or at least finding a little bit more value out of it. But we move, it'll be all right. I think in this tight choke, the Reinhardt will really thrive though. And with the Shatter on line too, it could be pretty huge from Avatar. So it will be up to Fruitcake to try and with the shield.
Yeah, Feeder's got to be careful. They've just been split down the middle now. 3 on each side. Liger's loving it, taking as much space. Especially Bork, who puts up the barrier, but quickly shut down by Hash. That is some fantastic defensive play. They found crucial picks as they needed. And now they get to slowly take out Toxic as well. Great defense and only a minute now remaining.
Yeah, Vibarelli came through with the disruption, I guess, on the Wrecking Ball. And that really shut down any attempt of setting up a shatter from Avatar Liger in that case. And now we're down to less than a minute left, and the defense is stacked to the brim with ultimates, but so is the offense. So this fight is going to be really, really hectic.
Yeah, Liger definitely wants to find that spot. A great minefield in the back, but the teams move so quickly, they've just completely ditched the scenario, except Tips, who gets caught out by the Noon right at the back. Liger's actually gone so far there's no one there because the other team is behind them in the end. We see the Tranquility come out for a bit of defensive support plays. The Dragons go for another attempted split. They can pick up Bryn here. It'd be a great pickup, but they've actually been putting themselves in a good position. They find Elias Bork with some great DPSing on that support role. Diva Bomb flies across the map, but still no connect as we see Mystery taking on that support battle of their own. Vibarelli's doing well to win out the tank fight and box up that high ground window. This is a lot of damage value if they can get it onto Fruitcake, and that's exactly what happens. Look at that kill feed light up with the supports, and again in the final moments, are they going to sneak themselves the second point they love living in that overtime?
Do you know what Twitch's like demographic is? Is it like old people? Because I only know old people that like fruitcake. I think it's like a thing. I don't think anybody like below the age of 50 genuinely enjoys fruitcake.
How long have you been thinking about that?
Too long. It's been keeping me up at night, okay? Like ever since I saw the rosters, I've been like tossing and turning.
Liger does get their shadow blocked out by the shield. They're doing a lot of great shielding here. They block out quite a few things. Fruitcake going in for that Tranquil. That's for that Gravitic Flux, sorry. Especially with Hash with the Noon there to try and block up. But Liger's still got that shield up and it stays up. There's just not enough shield pressure there at all to get any output going. Liger's doing so well to manage that shield. Still has it going even after all this chaos. Finally gets taken out, but the rest of the team's still going strong. So they need to clear out these squishies on the objective. Toxic with some great line of sight shots to take out Elias. The healing reduced heavily. Now Mutnik has to move in and play that close range, but they're just not going to be able to do it. And the third point does land.
26 seconds left on the clock as well. Any time left in hybrid is really, really important, so we will take it. And yeah, 3 on the board, full map completion. You can't ask for much more, really, but now the roles are reversed. It will be Akatsuki on the defense this time around, and Toxic was playing really well on the Mei on Dorado. So I expect that to kind of carry through onto King's Row, particularly on point A. It is a match made in heaven. Mei would really fit in as well. Maybe they like won't see the Mei wall because of the snow or something. I don't know. It looks like it's just part of the map. But Toxic, unsurprisingly, is going for the Mei, but Silicon, bit more out of left field, going off of the Diva onto the Zarya. From what when I've played with Silicon, they seem to be most comfortable on the Diva. So I don't know how much of this is their decision. I imagine Bork might be taking a little bit of control here.
Give Liger a little bit more of that sustain because they've been popping on that front line and they just maybe need that little bit extra to tip the scales.
Fair enough. Just let them go even more aggro into the Ryan v Ryan if that's what they're expecting. But VB really not fancying the big old German man, opting for the Winston instead. And Bryn on this Widowmaker could be pretty punishing. Are they waiting in spawn? They're going for the Great Bamboozle level play. Oh no, that is popping up a bit later.
But look at the positioning already from Akatsuki. They're not having any of it. They're just going to play down to that low ground in the room. They peek their head out, then get the shot comes off. They know what's up. Time to play around the building and just not give space. So Bryn's going to have to rotate around or switch up.
But still, that is so much space given to Feeders Incorporated now. So Bryn can just take that new sightline for absolute free. And the only real chance they have is Tipsy Kitty. This is where Silicon Art on the Diva would be so good because they could go up and potentially challenge that Widow.
This is true. Now they have no power against this high ground, really, other than a good couple of shots from Tipsy or Toxic. The pressure right there onto Liger. They get bullied around that Immortality field to come on and get them to sustain. But Fruitcake actually getting demacked was fantastic value. Bryn has got that high ground position with a healer there as well. It's a great place to be. They're in behind them, Hash as well on the other side. So this is just brutal. There's nowhere you can look that's safe right now. A Monkey gets nano boosted in your face as well. So the point is just a place you cannot be. Silicon gets split off after the rest of the team are all getting rolled out. Tipsy doing the damage that was needed for sure. Comes in with the Noon to clean up, and they've held it together. Oh my goodness.
Didn't even give up a tick, so arguably doing a better job than Feeders Inc. did on the defense, because they also had a few really tight squeezes there. So great stuff all the way around. It's back for a full 6v6. Avatar Liger is coming up on that Earth Shadow, and not too far behind them is Silicon Art with that Graviton Surge. But my eyes are going to be on Hash at the moment. How are they going to get value out of this high noon? It looks like they're going to be going up onto the high ground, which will force everybody from Atakatsuki back, and that will give space for the tanks.
Yeah, that noon, or even just a couple of good Widow headshots will open this right up. But Toxic saying, nope, not this push, buddies. There's a major amount of healing. Reduce Elias has a very risky res. Manages to get it off, so they're back to a full squad.
Look at Hash.
2 minutes now.
Look at Hash. Do they see him?
Round.
Up on the top ropes. Oh. Maywall.
Or they almost lifted them up over the top of that. Could have been really bad, but in the end doesn't connect. They do have the protection. Blizzard onto the objective to put the complete stall in, as a lot of ults committed there, and the push just not going their way. So they're going to be really missing those again on this next fight, as B is doing all they can on this point, but there's just not the man advantage in their favor. The team cannot sustain against that. When Bork's not even having to heal, they're in full DPS mode. They got to be careful they don't get caught out now.
Speaking of caught out, Mutnik is in a very precarious position. Yeah. But with their bodyguard of Fruitcake, I think they should be able to get out of this thing alive. Hold some position. Put the Ana in a really funky spot for the Winston and dive, so that nano boost will come from a really weird angle. But it should still be an impactful ultimate nonetheless.
Oh, VB makes it a very good line of sight too. Noon from way back. Committed out. VB's popping off to find the 2, taking out Liger, so the shield removed from the fight opens up the field a little bit for the rest of those hit scans to just roll through, and we'll find the point here just like that. And all it took was one good solid push like it.
Yeah, VB made a whole lot of space on the Winston. It was about to be a massive diva bomb from Fruitcake, but unluckily for them, Toxic had another really nice May wall. They've landed a fair few of them in this series, so props to them all the way around. And similarly to when Feeders Incorporated were when Atakatsuki were attacking, everybody's going all the way up on the offense, leaving the Diva on the payload, but this forward hold is a little bit less restricting to the defense because it's the Winston. They can't really hold that position. So they do just take the space, and then they do get out, but Hash is up on the high ground. Oh, Elias is dead.
Oh, wow, that window had barely even opened up properly before Bork came in heavy with the damage. Finds a couple there in the end, just halts the push completely. Jeez.
That was a really reactive use of the amplification matrix. They recognized Tink was out of position and just really recognized the value in getting that Mercy pick. So had no hesitation in popping that ultimate to secure it. Great stuff all the way around, and now it's back to the defense holding position. But the Nano Visor's coming up. Bryn found so much value with it on Dorado, maybe they can do the same, but no, it goes to the Winston.
A decent Maywall there actually splits the team up quite well. Tipsy getting rid of the main tank as well, so Mutnik's really in a bad spot. They're going to just have to go down and reset. They bought a lot of fight out of that with one Maywall that split 2 players off.
Again, it's just Toxic creating those spectacular Maywalls as always, and it has warranted a pretty hefty composition swap from Feeders Inc. It is Mutnik going over to the BAP and VB going to the Orisa. Still just not confident in that Ryan matchup, which is really surprising for me. I expected them to really want them to getting their hands dirty, but no, the tanks get walled off and they're playing the Orisa.
Maybe they're respecting Liger's strength on the shield and they rather just break it from afar, and then now like they have this situation, they get rid of their shield and then the rest of the team manage to find their angles they need to. They can walk on through. As long as Toxic doesn't go in on them, they lose Bork, so the healing removed. Vivaroli's brought back into the fight as well, but Tipsy wins the cowboy fight in the middle. Look at the aggressive play from Vivaroli. They're getting a little too aggro in the front there. The team could not keep up. And still, just such good damage here, especially with this visor from the top. Bryn wants to put that pressure down on Liger. If the shield's still in play, they get right up in their face and actually win the battle out for it. So really good aggression. This has definitely got their team a little bit more room with the cart.
Sorry, I thought you said cowboy fart, and that really got to me.
had a toot off.
Yeah, I
Draw.
do that all the time. I misspeak so often. I cannot flame you for it. I'm so sorry. But no, this is the strength of the Orisa though. They can put that shield really far forward and still protect the rest of the team. Will the touch even come through? No, it doesn't. Liger is just too late on it. Oh no, that is worst case scenario for Akatsuki.
Martinick managed to get that window up on the card as well, so the moving window, able to keep it going, make it good use of the rest of the team as the cart move forward with them. Really fantastic use of the ult.
Sorry, I'm just googling what Akatsuki is. It's the most feared organization in Naruto. They are pretty fearful.
Okay.
But I'll
Yeah,
get
they
to
are.
them.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah, they've left VB too scared to go to the Reinhardt, so I reckon they're living up to their name. Oh, here's the bomb.
You can see bomb right to the back. Mentality was used, but doesn't need it in the end. They have a lot of barrier. Noon from Tipsy to clean out Mutnik. A lot of healing removed. They use the freeze right at the objective. There's only 50 seconds left, so they have to get the picks here from that freeze. They do manage to get rid of that Orisa, which is a good shield removed from the fight. They can freeze on that objective. Split off with the Maywall. They get picked up from Ash, though. Some great damage output. These are the kills that they need. But what a shatter. Just walks straight through the barrier. Not a problem. That's the one hard part about that fixed barrier. You can't adjust it for Ligo, who's just going to walk around it and play around as they want. Really good tank play.
Toxic going over to the Torbjorn for this final stint could actually make engaging really, really tricky because there will be periods of time. Oh, they won't have any shields at all as VB goes to the Breaking Ball for the contest. So they'll just be taking constant damage from that Torbjorn turret, which will be a priority to eliminate.
And the window comes up as well, so the damage is even more. The team is split because they have to desperately jump onto the objective, which makes it very difficult. I'm thinking that Akatsuki are looking pretty strong for the hold here as they can keep getting some frags out. Mutnik does win out the DPS. The support fight, sorry, is Hash taking out that Torbjorn. There's no hammer to worry about. They got a high noon of their own, though. It gets basically blocked out from Fruitcake, though. That is not quickly traded out with another shatter from Liger, who's just keeping that damage output going strong. The tank strength there, winning them out the fight, and the overtime is gone. Well done, Akatsuki.
A really hotly contested match for match number 2 of the night. Akatsuki is eventually getting the dub, and Fruitcake earning themselves the play of the game right here. They had a few iffy fluxes, but this one absolutely was not. Taking out the immortality field as well, really recognizing that that was what was stopping them from popping off, and then they proceeded to do just that. Lovely stuff all the way around.
Who's your Gamerfuel player of the match on that one there?
That's what I'm trying to think of. I really don't know. I really want to give it to the entire tank line. I think that the tank line in general just did a really strong job. So I'm going to give it to Liger and Silicon Art. I think as a combo, they played really well. And throughout this tournament, it might be one of the better tank lines around.
Yeah, for sure. I think they played out of their minds. I mean, Liger's shatters at the end there basically wanted him out the match. So really, really solid play. Oh man, fantastic performance. I think we're now going to get ourselves into an interview with one of the team captains. And one of our fellow casters, Harry, is going to be taking us on the show for that one. It might help if we actually get Harry jumping in here with us to talk to our interview.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh, there we are.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Wait. What?
Hey Harry, welcome to the show. How you been, mate?
I'm good. Wait, are we actually live right now?
Yes. We're just getting our captain into the show shortly. Well, we thought we'd get you ready to go first. So
Hello.
we're gonna get Mystery in. Hey, Mystery.
Oh, there we are.
Yes, I'm premature.
No, you're perfectly on time. We are ready to take you on as Harry will be taking our questions today.
Ooh.
Yeah. I guess we're just going with this now. So, firstly, Mystery. I'm here with Mystery, the captain of Atsuki. How you doing, Mystery?
Really good. Sweating. But that's just because it's hot, not because I'm stressing, not because we're actually sweating.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, that's good. Obviously, you've just come off a nice win, coming against the team of Feeders Inc. there. Who do you think was a standout player on your team for this game?
Oh, I think definitely Bork. His his comms and the plan and everything was just really, really good. It definitely kept the team together, and when we were kind of unsure what we were doing, he was just like, "No, guys, this is what we're gonna do." So yeah, definitely Bork.
Yeah, so he brought your team together there. That's really good. Obviously you did lose a map in this series. How did you feel coming out after that map? And do you think that your attitude after that map contributed to your third map win?
I think we were definitely like, oh, that sucks. But Liger and myself just like kind of pepped everyone up for the next game, and it wasn't like a complete loss. We were super close to how they did, so I think it definitely motivated us to get the next win.
Yeah, no, that is really good, and that's interesting to just hear about how the attitude that you had going into it really affected just your mental preparation as well. And how do you feel? Obviously, this stream is for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We've done such an amazing job so far, raising 25% to our goal. How do you feel as a streamer coming in and doing such an event for such a good cause?
Well, I'm always down to stream and play for a good cause. I think helping people that are in need is honestly such a humble thing to do, and so when I found out that this is why we were doing it, I was happy that this was the reason, and it wasn't just streaming for money sort of thing. It's streaming for money to go towards a good cause.
Yeah, that's really good. Alrighty then. Well, thank you, Mystery, for your honesty and answering your questions. Again, congratulations for a really good match and a really good win. And hopefully we can see you continue further on in the tournament, going through with these wins.
Thank you, guys. Really good casting as well. It's a pleasure to watch you guys as well.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
And with that, guys, we are going to be going over to a break as well. So stick around. We will be there very shortly. Again, if you want to donate to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, just type in chat, !donate, and click on the link. You'll be taken straight over there, and feel free to donate however much as you can.
Okay, I'm going. Bye.